Tonight, protesters gather in Port Lincoln and across the country to fight for the bite. And Port Augusta residents walk to find a cure for brain cancer.
With the latest from around the region, your nightly news with John Hunt begins now.
Good evening. Thousands of protesters across the region have hit the water in a national day of action against drilling in the Great Australian Bight. Dozens of surfers paddled out in Port Lincoln to have their voice heard.
They came by the dozen and were in full voice. Every man, woman, child and dog out in force to fight for the Bight.
Our message from the Port Lincoln community is we don't want you here. We don't want you anywhere in Australia. This is our backyard. You can go and drill in Norway.
Protesters from across the Eyre Peninsula paddled out on Saturday to make a splash against Norwegian oil company Equinor. The cause receiving nationwide support.
We stand with the rest of Australia's coastal communities that are paddling out today.
The event leaving some in tears.
I hope that they see that this is our backyard and that we really care about the place, and they're coming all the way from Norway and they think that they can drill somewhere like that. And I hope they just see that we're so passionate.
Equinor had its proposal rejected for the second time earlier this month by the national regulator, but the Norwegian company is expected to resubmit for the third time this Friday.
They can keep getting rejected and put back, and then they're allowed to apply again. So there's no end to how many times that they can amend their plan.
The country's on fire and they're doing nothing, and we're about to smother our oceans, and it doesn't seem like anyone's really caring except for the communities and the people, and
Drilling supporters claim it could create more than 2,000 jobs in South Australia and inject up to $7 billion per year into the economy. But opponents say that's little comfort.
History shows that spills can and do happen, and communities don't really come back from that.
Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Broken Hill police say it's amazing nobody was injured after a man allegedly climbed onto the roof of the TAFE building over the weekend. Officers having to call in a negotiator to get the man down.
Just before 3 o'clock Sunday morning, officers at Broken Hill Police Station came outside after hearing loud noises. They soon spotted a 41-year-old man on the roof of the TAFE building next door and smashed roof tiles in the station's parking area.
This male person was yelling and screaming at police about certain matters and matters they couldn't understand due to the distance and of where the person was.
Argent Street was cordoned off. A local police negotiator called in. About 2 hours after the man was discovered, he was successfully talked down off the roof and arrested. Police believing the 41-year-old may have gained access to the TAFE with a key.
The male person was charged with trespassing on TAFE grounds and also malicious damage by damaging the roof and throwing it at the police station, and he's to appear at court at a later date.
It was a busy weekend for local law enforcement. Officers also charging a 30-year-old man after an alleged pursuit. Police will allege the driver sped off after local patrols tried to pull him over for driving with his high beams on. After a short pursuit, the driver stopped in Chapel Lane.
In charge with driving matters and also goods in custody. So in the rear of the vehicle there's a number of electrical items in the vehicle which he couldn't explain really where he got them from.
The man will appear in local court tomorrow. Patrick Reinke, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Mid-North fire crews have undertaken hazard reduction near Boober Airy today after a fire broke out yesterday afternoon, tearing through 40 hectares of scrubland. CFS crews were called to North Bungaree Road just before 5 yesterday afternoon. Farm Fire Unit's 7 CFS crews and fire bombers helped bring the blaze under control. It's believed the fire was started from a header. Residents in the area are urged to remain vigilant. 8 youths have been charged over a car pursuit in Port Augusta on Saturday night. Police received reports of a BMW doing burnouts in Cook Street and Paringa Road. The car, linked to a break-in just 2 days earlier, led police on a chase and was later abandoned. The suspects, aged between 12 and 16, were arrested yesterday. 3 of the youths were bailed to appear in the Port Augusta Youth Court on December 11. The other 5 face court today. With Christmas just a month away, Port Perry's Food Hub is preparing to assist struggling families. The community is encouraged to support a food bin initiative by donating goods.
Getting ready for the festive season, this local group is aiming to make Christmas a little more merry for the less fortunate.
Community are asked to donate goods like Christmas items to drop-off points around the town that the Recorder have organised, and from that they bring them here and then we pass them on to the community.
The green boxes will be placed in various locations around the city and available in local businesses.
This particular time of the year where we reach out to make someone else's life a little bit more comfortable is a great initiative, you know. There's plenty of places around the town that you can actually drop off some extra food and whatnot.
Christmas is a really difficult time, a really expensive time for all families, and so just by being able to have a few little extra Christmassy food items, it really helps them out.
Community leaders donating some funds to help support the cause.
Myself, the local member, the Port Perry Regional Council through the Mayor and also through the Recorder, and I've just donated a $200 cheque, which is in addition to what they get in funding here.
It's the season of giving, and United Country SA are also taking toy donations for older as well as younger children.
We get lots of donations for children that are quite young. Often we miss out on those donations for teenage kids.
Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Still to come tonight, Port Lincoln's Dirt Circuit Club vows to rebuild, and Port Augusta holds its first ever walk for brain cancer. Welcome back. Port Lincoln's Dirt Circuit Club are rebuilding after their complex was destroyed in the recent bushfire. The town has rallied behind them, with more than $4,000 raised.
Picking up the pieces after being ravished by fire, Port Lincoln's Dirt Circuit Club has been left devastated with thousands of dollars in damage.
Lights are gone, some of the power poles have got that hot they've actually bent over like bananas, so yeah, they're all gone.
The town has been rallying behind them, with local businesses offering vital support.
From machinery to hands to help cooking food for workers, so yeah, it's been an awesome effort by everyone really.
An online fundraiser has been set up to support local clubs affected by the fire, with more than $4,000 raised. The money to help rebuild club infrastructure.
We've come up with a plan of attack to start rebuilding and put some things in place to get going, and yeah, we'll they sort of started last weekend and starting to remove all the debris, so yeah, it'll continue on from there.
The fire has left the club devastated, with walls, lights and sheds turned into piles of rubble. They were due to host the Dirt Circuit State titles here on the track in March, but that's now up in the air.
Yeah, you got to keep a positive attitude with it like everyone's got. We've got a really good bunch of members and, you know, support around us that are all getting behind us to redo it, so yeah, we'll hopefully get there.
You can support the club by visiting its Facebook page. Nathan Regter, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Good luck to them. Local businesses are being encouraged to apply for round 4 of the Building Better Regions Fund. This year's grants are focused on drought support. The fund's aimed at not-for-profit organisations, giving them the opportunity to get projects started. Organisations can apply for 2 grants, a $1 million community investment stream and an infrastructure stream worth $10 million.
When the applications are going up, they actually have to put a focus on development of communities and jobs as well.
Applications close on December 19. Mid-North locals are encouraged to support a mental health fundraiser hosted by the Cade McDonald Foundation. Organisers say it's crucial to open up conversations about mental health with young people.
Riding the stigma away, teams are already preparing for a 12-hour long relay raising funds for youth mental health facilities.
On the 5th of April 2020, so that's on a Sunday and it's going to be an all-day show. They'll be riding for 12 hours straight.
Staff are welcoming this event, hosted at the Valley's Lifestyle Centre.
That fitness really can improve one's mental health. So for us it was a natural alignment with the Cade McDonald Foundation.
The foundation was formed in the wake of a loss of a community member.
We lost our son on October the 16th, 2018. Really rocked the community. and I needed to do something positive for myself to keep going.
Younger voices joining the committee in a bid to tackle the issue.
It doesn't have to be the way that it is, and I believe that as we break down the stigma, it will change and we can get people help that they need and they deserve.
We just want this to be successful. We want to help the youth, so we are guided by the youth.
For those interested in the ride, contact the Valley's Lifestyle Centre. And if you or someone you know needs help, call Lifeline on 13 11 14. Shari Hams, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Organisers of Broken Hill local basketball say the future of the sport is looking bright. Junior numbers are through the roof after a number of years in decline. Hundreds of youngsters of all skill levels coming to play, from those just developing to potential stars of the NBL.
We play under 8s boys and girls, and we also play under 10s boys and girls. We play 5, 6 and 7 o'clock time slots. All courts are used throughout all of them.
Junior basketball is played on Friday nights at the local stadium. Port Augusta's residents walked to support the fight against brain cancer over the weekend. Around 50 people gathered for the inaugural event, many of whom have a close connection to the cause.
The sun shining down on what was a very special day at the Port Augusta foreshore. The city turning out in droves, wearing purple to show their support for a cure for brain cancer.
I'm overwhelmed by how many people have turned out today. It's a special day and it turned out to be a beautiful day.
Dozens making their way past the starting line, every step and every dollar raised critical to supporting researchers. It's a subject many involved in the walk knew too well.
Well, my wife passed away of brain cancer 3 years ago.
The lady that this has been raised for, I worked with her at the hospital.
Rallying together to help raise money which will help those battling.
It's a good way for the community to get together, I think.
Just shows how much support there is. Port Augusta's always been like this. They just support whoever needs fundraising done, doesn't matter what it's for.
Even those unable to walk supporting the cause in different ways. Live music and cake stalls selling goods, helping raise extra money.
All donated, all the cakes and been donated and made by people to sell.
Organisers say they're confident that this was the start of a new tradition for Port Augusta.
He's hoping that it'll be an annual one every year, and I'm sure that next year will be even bigger and better.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Stay with us after the break. We'll have a wrap of the weekend's cricket action. And Britt will have the latest weather forecast. Hello again. The Port Augusta Racing Club has unveiled new improvements to the track. It was part of their annual general meeting, with the club preparing for the 2020 racing season.
New and improved. The Port Augusta Racing Club showing off their upgrades. What used to be uneven grass and sand, now flat pavers covering the marquee area.
Ladies certainly appreciate not having to sink their heels into sand all the time.
The club unveiling the upgrade as part of their annual general meeting, with members pleased with the new renovations.
Proudest achievements in the last few years with these improvements is that the course now is totally accessible by wheelchair.
The new lawn area is just one of the many ways the club has seen change. The committee is confident the upgrades have already boosted attendances.
We've certainly seen an increase in patronage, and that patronage can really be attributed to the facilities that we've improved out here.
The track will host 9 races during the winter season, with horses from around the region to race.
We do get quite a bit of support from the southern areas, and that's really good and really comforting that they see Port Augusta as a viable place to race their horses.
And they're excited for the new year.
All looking forward to a new 2020 and looking onwards and upwards for the upcoming year, considering the amount of improvements we've made around the place.
Laura Milovanovic, 7 Spencer Golf News.
Cricket now, and West Broken Hill have caused a boil-over, upsetting an informed South on Sunday. Here's Patrick Reinke with the weekend wrap.
As temperatures in Broken Hill start to rise, local cricket action has also been heating up. The Robins looked poised to set a big total for South, with Peter Lewis and Matthew Handberg keeping the runs ticking over. But it all went pear-shaped as the Roos trapped Handberg in front, caught Patrick Addard soon after and eventually stumped Lewis. With the tail end exposed, South ripped through them. Austin Ferguson flicked one to mid-on. Casey Ferguson was bamboozled by this gem from Matt Gray, and Stenhouse was nabbed at cover. South's run chase started horrendously though, with Ryan Gillespie gone in the first over. Soon after, Matt Leo also had his stumps hit. Matt Reevell and Sheldon Hall did their best to steady the ship, but West's bowling attack skittled them for just 117. In the other match over the weekend, Central showed their strength in their win over North. In Port Lincoln, 5 wickets to Luke Strudwick and 4 to Andrew Frick saw Tasman breeze past Todd River. Southern Air chased down Charlton's total of 131, Ben Smith top scoring with 82. And a middle order batting collapse saw Wayback just scrape past Lincoln South, winning by just 1 wicket. In the northern areas, Spalding Boober Airy fell short against Ballaley Mananeri. A knock of 76 from Josh Lyons gave Peakner Carrington a good win. Borough stayed on top after beating Wilmington Melrose, and Orroroo have moved up to 4th with a win over cellar dwellers Boolaroo Wallawi. And finally to the regional intercity carnival, Saturday's game saw Port Pirie defeat Port Augusta and Whyalla down Roxby districts. On Sunday, Whyalla continued their winning ways against Pirie and Port Augusta snagged a win over Roxby as well. I'll be back tomorrow night with a wrap of the rest of the week's sport.
And time to take a look at what's happening in the weather. Here's Britt.
Thanks, John, and good evening. It's been warm and windy about most of the region today, with cooler conditions and showers in the south. Port Augusta reached 37 degrees, Broken Hill 36, Port Pirie 34, Whyalla 33, Adelaide 27, Port Lincoln 20. From the satellite cloud building about the Spencer Gulf under an area of low pressure. Moving ahead to tomorrow now, on the Gulf waters, southerly winds tending southwesterly at 20 to 25 knots with seas around 3 metres. Sunrise at 6:03 in the morning with sunset at 8:10. Mild and mostly sunny conditions about the region, with maximums ranging from the late teens to the mid-20s. Woodner looking at a top of 26 degrees tomorrow, Corn 25, Broken Hill and Port Pirie 24, Port Augusta 23, Kadina 22, Whyalla and Adelaide 21, Clare 20, Cleve 19, Port Lincoln and Coffin Bay both with tops of 17 degrees tomorrow. Looking further through the week, with sunny conditions forecast for Wednesday at Port Lincoln, Cleve and Woodner, all looking fine and partly cloudy on Thursday, with showers moving in on Friday. Whyalla and Port Augusta both warm and sunny on Wednesday, looking fine Thursday and Friday. Kadina with a sunny day on Wednesday and partly cloudy conditions Thursday, showers on Friday. A sunny Wednesday forecast for Port Pirie and Broken Hill, both with partly cloudy conditions for the remainder of the working week. And finally to Clare, where it's looking to be bright and sunny Wednesday and Thursday with a fine day on Friday. And John, that's it from me.
Thanks, Britt. And that's the local news this Monday evening. Thanks so much for joining us. I'll have some updates later in the evening, but until then, enjoy your evening here on 7. On behalf of the team, it's good night.